Hi guys, welcome to Family Create. I hope you're all doing well. So as you can see, two of the toughest watch built by Samsung. We'll be doing a quick comparison with the Watch Ultra with its predecessor, the 5 Pro. The 5 Pro still is one of our all-time favorite, and with the new Watch Ultra, it's a direct replacement of the Watch 5 Pro. Build quality on both is of course robust with titanium. The 5 Pro is 45 mm and the Watch Ultra is 47 mm. Both crystal sapphire screen, and the battery is 590 mAh on both. Let's start off with the design. As we can see, both are very beautifully designed, both very robust, built to last. We've had this one, the 5 Pro, since launch, so it's been 2 years, and as you can see, gosh, it's been used without any protection, without any screen protector or covering or anything, and as you can see, it's immaculate. No scratches on the screen, nothing. It is actually one of the toughest watch we've had, and we've really liked it as well, so we've kept it even though we've had a few other watches in between as well, like the Classic and the Pixel watch. With this one, again, is titanium. I love the finishing and the chamfered edges on this one. Of course, the new action button and the top and the bottom button, it's quite nice. With the 5 Pro, we don't have the middle button, but with the new one we have the middle button here, which is obviously very similar to the Apple Watch. The only little difference with the watches is the strap. The strap on the 5 Pro is attached from outside, whereas with the Watch Ultra is a quick release, which I've shown in previous videos, which is really nice, and the strap goes into the body of the watch, which is also, I think, quite nice and compact. The other thing is, lugs on this one stick out like a traditional watch, and you got a little toggle here that you have to pull to release, which is a bit fiddly. With the new Watch Ultra, it's actually rather nice. I really like it. It's a quick release button, which you have here, and you press and release. Again, to put it on, it's the same thing again, and it's done. It's very quick, very easy to do as well. So as you can see, with both of them, they both have digital bezel. Because they're ragged watch, they don't have physical bezel, waterproof and all that. I think the only complaint I had with the 5 Pro is that the digital bezel was very what's the word for it? You just jump from place to place. Sometimes you can never always get the right place. You'd either be too fast or too slow. The digital bezel on the Watch Ultra, however, is on another level altogether. When you rotate the digital bezel, you can actually literally feel the click and the vibration, and it's very precise. It doesn't jump. You can literally feel it, and you can see it going from screen to screen, tile to tile. It's actually really good experience using this particular digital bezel compared to the 5 Pro's digital bezel. So in terms of changes, as we can see, both watches are round, but one is cushioned on a squarish face, and the other one is just purely round. With the 5 Pro, as you can see, we've put a Ringke bezel just to give those markings, which makes it look nice, but in actual, this Ringke bezel, under that is just a black big bezel, which wasn't very attractive. But with the new Ultra, as you can see, the bezel has really nice marking on it. With the white version it's silver, with the grey version is orange marking, which color coordinates with the strap as well, which is rather nice. And then moving on to the sides, as you can see, we've got the top button, bottom button on the 5 Pro, and a little mic there. With the Ultra, you've got the top button, bottom button, you've got mic there, and most importantly, you've got a circular button in the middle. Although this moves, it doesn't do anything if you rotate it, but if you press it down, it does an action button or quick button, whatever that's called. Okay, so moving on to the other side, here we've got speaker there, microphone there. With the 5 Pro, we've got small speaker grill there and another one there. So if we're comparing the speaker grill directly, the new Ultra has very big speaker grills compared to the 5 Pro, which is tiny really, as you can see. Then we got microphone. If we look at the microphone, the 5 Pro only has one, and the Ultra has 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if that's one as well. If it is, that's 4. That's quite a lot. Going on to the back of both of the watches, we can see the temperature sensors here on both of the watches. So the 5 Pro has I think 4 sensors, whereas the Watch Ultra has 13 or 14 sensors. So obviously there's a 2-year gap between the watch, so you get a lot more with the Watch Ultra, which means far better heart rate tracking, bioimpedance reading. Overall, I'm really excited to try out all the health tracking features actually, particularly the blood pressure. As you probably will know, with the Classic and our previous watches we have done, and we do take regular blood pressure reading, and I want to see how the Ultra does, because it's so far the readings that we've done with the heart rate and health tracking, everything seems really accurate. So I'm quite excited to try out the blood pressure reading as well. So we'll do a video on the blood pressure collaboration process and upload a video for you guys. Do keep your notification bell on for that. So moving on, with the 5 Pro, it has 5 ATM water resistant, and with the Watch Ultra, it's 10 ATM, which is obviously you can go far deeper in terms of swimming or ocean diving. So that's a fantastic addition to the already a robust watch. In terms of GPS, it's dual band, whereas with the 5 Pro it was single. So in terms of accuracy wise, it's like spot on. I think we've done a video on route tracking in Saudi Arabia a couple of weeks ago, and we were amazed at how quick it was at detecting when we were taking wrong turn or we stopped. Immediately it would stop. As soon as we stop, it would auto pause, and then as soon as we moved, it would restart straight away as well. We found accuracy wise, in terms of our experience with all the Samsung watches, we found the Watch Ultra was one of the best so far in terms of GPS tracking and detecting our location, and navigation wise it was so precise. I mean, you know, it was pinpointing our route, and where we went wrong, it was straight away redirecting us. So in our brief testing, we found the GPS accuracy was far greater than any of the other watches we have. So I can only imagine what you'd be for people who are using to hike or do long trekking. Both the watch have route tracking and track back, which the Classic didn't have, which we were really disappointed with. So let's show you on this one. See when you're rotating how everything goes really fast. So this was one of the route that we used a while back, just to give you an idea. Whereas with the Ultra, if I show you, it was a route that we done in Saudi Arabia. As you can see, even on the previous screen, look how detailed it is. The blue line here along there is the route, and on this one, as you can see, can you see the difference? Far more detail with the Watch Ultra. So the route track and track back features are only supported by these two watches in the Samsung range. I do remember when we were using the 5 Pro for route tracking, it was quite slow actually, and it'd take a while for turning, and you know, we'd have to wait a bit for rerouting and things like that. But you know, just to bear in mind, this was single band GPS, whereas with the Watch Ultra it's dual band GPS, so it's more accurate and it's quick. It can locate a signal anywhere in difficult area or environment like a forest, or we actually went through tunnels as well, wasn't it? And it was able to detect signals. Okay, moving on to the screen of the watches. With the 5 Pro, this is 1.4 inch, and if we look at the brightness, this is on full brightness. This is the 5 Pro has 1000 nits, whereas with the Ultra is 3000 nits. So that is incredibly bright. I mean, like, let's put it on full like the other one as well. I think we'll do a quick torch test and show you guys to see how bright it is. So I'll pass it on to my husband to carry on with the next part of the video.
So the screen brightness on both of these watches is quite a bit different. The Ultra has 3000 nits of screen brightness, whereas Watch 5 Pro has 1000, and that's obviously very evident if you take it out into like really sunny conditions. Then this one you'll have no problem viewing the screen because of the high contrast of the screen, whereas this one may be a problem, although I've never kind of found it to be a problem. But one way I'll quickly do a test to demonstrate that is to try and put the torch on both on the maximum power. I may have to turn some lights off to show you how bright it gets. So with this one I've programmed the quick button to launch the torch, and then you can rotate the bezel to increase the brightness and decrease the brightness. Yeah, you can also double press this button as well to sort of change different ones. So now it's flashing. So I'm just going to leave it, and I'm going to turn it to full brightness like here, and this one. So this is it. This is the difference. I don't know if it's showing very well on the video. Turn this light off and see. I think it's better to turn both of them. You get a good idea of the level of brightness. But to be honest, one is quite capable of being used like a flash. I find the Watch Ultra flash is quite powerful, and it's really handy actually in dark conditions if you needed a torch. I know it's not a proper LED torch, but it does help because the screen gets really bright. This just shows you how bright. I mean, it's really hard to tell on this video, I must say, but in real life, you know, when I'm looking at it in person, the brightness is so obvious. Torch is just a way of showing it, but you definitely know when you're outside. Using it in extreme bright conditions, This one, I mean, I usually just leave it on sort of half brightness because it doesn't really need to be on full brightness, and it's usually fine for me. But I have found having it set to higher brightness on this one, where there's extreme like sort of bright daylight like in Egypt or Saudi, and it was absolutely visible. So moving on to the performance side of the two watches. So obviously there's a 2-year gap between the two. However, the Watch Ultra has obviously, you know, a brand new processor, really supposed to be efficient processor, new processor compared to this one, which is now 2 years old. And it is very noticeable in terms of performance because the Ultra is extremely fast. When you're moving from applications and when you're sort of, you can see how quick it is. I'm not finding any lag, whereas and even the Classic there is a bit of a lag. And even when you're switching between the tiles, very quick and smooth, and it's quite pleasant to use. That's why I think it makes the digital bezel quite pleasant to use as well, because it's quite nice and smooth and very fast. So that's definitely a factor due to the improved sort of internals on this one. Now on this one quickly, let me just show you. So if I'm here now, and I mean honestly, it seems fine, but you know, only if you experience the watch, you know, there are times when you're trying to move from tile to tile or a watch face or something, or opening an app. It could take a while to load. I don't know. Let's see, this is fine. But even let's just do this one again. So you open it, and then when you go back, there's usually a lag in sort of changing. Whereas on the Ultra, if I was to go into the same alarm, I mean, kind of almost instant. Alarm is just an app, but let's show you again on this one. I mean, it's hard to tell, but believe me, you know, I'm sure people have noticed that this one is a bit slower than expected. It's old now, so in that sense, it's unfair comparison really for that, because you expect a performance to be better on this watch with all the latest processors. And don't forget, in terms of the RAM, this one's got 2 GB of RAM, and this one has, I think, 1.5 GB of RAM on this one. So this one's obviously got more RAM. Storage wise, this one's got 32 GB of storage, and this one has only 16. So I think one of my concern about these watches were, like, because Samsung kept sticking to 16 GB, is when you download loads of watch faces and you keep or you install lots of apps, you know, you start noticing and worrying about the storage space, because I noticed that it used to be running quite low, and I had to end up sometimes deleting apps or watch faces. 32 gigs of storage means there's plenty, and I don't think you should worry about that. I mean, the other thing was, if you were to kind of put some files like music and stuff on them, you really don't have much space. So that's something to really bear in mind. I mean, Watch 5 is still a very, very capable watch. It's extremely, as my wife already covered, the durability and everything of the watch is, and it's also quite nice as well. You know, it looks quite good. Obviously, there's a huge size difference, but size, design, everything. You know, this one's quite a bit smaller, but to be honest, this one always looked good, and the Ultra, especially with this new band, really fits really nicely on the wrist now, and I do like it. I mean, it's quite a nice fit. So in terms of other areas of performance, I mean, we talked about the GPS and all that. So now apps, watch obviously is very smooth. I haven't experienced any lag yet. I've kind of downloaded some apps that I use, and it's not really impacted the performance at all. Other things like call quality and everything is so much better on Watch Ultra. Obviously, that's helped by the fact there's more microphones, larger speaker grill. So I found even sort of noisy, busy sort of environment, you can hear call quite clearly. The other side can also hear very well. I think they couldn't tell whether it's coming from someone's talking on a watch. So that is a really, it's one of those things I know on this one, and even on the Classic as well. The speaker was like quite, it's such a tiny little speaker, and the sound, especially coming out of the speaker, you know, you can't really hear very well, even on full volume, or it gets cranky, whereas I haven't experienced this on the Ultra, so that's definitely a massive improvement. And especially this one has LTE built in, and I have a data plan, so if you have a data plan, and you kind of could use it as a phone sometimes, and it's good to know that at least you can kind of have a proper conversation. I mean, also experience of Pixel Watch being really poor with the speaker. It seems like as soon as you turn the volume up, it seems like the speaker's blown or something, whereas the Ultra is really good. So very pleased about that. Now the watch face, the size of the screens, obviously one's 1.4 and 1.5, so this one's slightly bigger, but the resolution I think on this one's obviously higher, and that's noticeable because of the brightness. Watch faces I think looks really nice on this watch. So there's the standard one that Samsung supplied, and if you were to sort of put something else on, also there's no bezel like around the watch face, so the whole face is taken up completely by the watch face. I mean, try a different one on this watch and see. This one, no, it's the same thing. I mean, it covered the, actually there's a slight bezel, tiny little black space around the watch face, whereas on this one it's almost, it's entirely covered, so it kind of makes the watch face pops out, and it just looks really, really nice. Now other things in terms of performance of the watch, I mean, I haven't taken it to swimming or anything like that, but obviously this one will be much more capable than this one. On this one you can change some, I think you can change on this one as well, but you've got your quick settings toggled here, you've got them same here as well. Now there are other things like in terms of actual sensors and improvements in those areas. So this watch obviously supposed to have far better health tracking. I'm experiencing a good tracking of heart rate. I say good because I kind of can compare with Pixel Watch, and it seems very, very good. Consistent numbers are very consistent. One thing I'm not really sure about is the body composition and all that. It still seems very kind of inconsistent. I don't know if it's to do with me or if it's to do with the watch, but you could take a reading, two different readings or a couple of minutes apart, and you're going to get total different readings. So how is that meant to make sense? But in terms of other areas, so they've introduced things like health energy score on this one, so it's supposed to give you a score of how you are, I mean, in terms of your energy. So it's giving 69, that's 6 down from the previous day. It's giving me a rating of fair. Energy score factors, so what kind of stuff take into account. So you've got sleep time, and you got all those kind of stuff, and it tells you how if there's any areas that you haven't done really well. So previous activity says attention needed, as you can see. Other areas like sleeping, HRV excellent, sleeping, heart rate fair, and then all this other stuff. This one doesn't have this kind of feature, although this one does. If I go to health, I mean, you kind of see when it jitters. Although this is good to have this feature, the energy score, but to be honest, on the watch, the annoying thing is it doesn't really tell you anything. I mean, yes, that's the score. You go into the phone's health, and then it tells you a bit more about it. I mean, if you look at the new Pixel Watch, for example, Pixel Watch 3, it gives you a sort of your briefing, and it tells you about your score and what contributed to it on the watch. And this one doesn't even sort of. I don't recall getting any notifications in the morning to say this is your energy score or anything like that. It's there, but it doesn't prompt you with anything. So it'd be good to get some more information on the watch. If Pixel Watch can do it, I'm sure this watch should be able to do it as well. Maybe just nice, Yes, I know I can go on the phone app. I prefer to see things like that on the watch. Same with this other new feature they've got, the AGES index. I mean, again, you go there and it tells you a score or whatever, but it doesn't really explain why and what you do with it, how you're going to get it up, how do you improve this, or it just says check your results and trends and learn more about age index on your phone. You go there and I think amazing. I mean, I would have liked a bit more information here on the watch. So these are the kind of things this one doesn't have. I mean, it's great to have this, and I know this is just a brand new feature and it will probably improve. And I mean, in terms of the overall reading, it seems quite accurate actually. Again, the more to the left you are to the green, I think the better. So as you can see, I'm not really doing very well at the moment. I prefer it to be somewhere more to the green. And in terms of the health sort of features, like we talked about the body composition and all this stuff. Now, the daily activity, I think they're kind of similar. Let's have a quick look. So you go to the daily activity. Again, this is very old. See, this one's kind of a bit more, I don't know if you can see it. So you can see this one better. I mean, the information is like more sharper, and obviously it's a bit bigger, so it looks better to look at. But the actual data of what you're seeing is kind of the same, really. You get all your... Actually, this one doesn't give you your active time and calorie sort of graphs, which this one, the Ultra, does. And then this one also has introduced things like, you know, so in addition you get this bit here, motion, that tells you how many floors you climbed, active hours, time exercised, and raised heart rate activity, calories from your exercise, and how many days. Okay, that's the same thing as how many days you met your goals. So that's okay. It's a bit more information in here. You can track your water intake and stuff. Step, obviously, is the same thing. This one will have the steps as well. So see if there's anything different on this one. No, it's kind of similar. Now the thing about exercise workouts here, so you can go here and you can pick one of the exercises you want to do. So if I said, I don't want to start exercise now, to be honest, but what I can do, I can go and view workouts. So any workouts you did in the week, tells you 3 sessions and what you did, walked or whatever. You know, if you did an exercise, you know, you can still see more information about it, like heart rate, and you see your zones. Now it's not showing any more information here, but actually if I go back to this one, the walk, tells you about the steps, tells you about the speed, heart rate, heart zones again, and then it gives you the VO2 max score here, which this watch doesn't, and then tells you about sweat loss and gives you a map of where you walked. So that's good. These are good features to have. I can view exercises on this one. There's nothing done because I haven't been wearing this one. And so yeah, you got all of that here. Sleep tracking. It's good that the sleep tracking seems, from what I have experienced so far, the sleep tracking seems quite accurate. And you know, if you have more than one sleep, like different, you know, stages, it sort of picks it up. So if you've got 2 or 3 different sleep periods, they'll show them here, which is kind of nice. It tells you the movement as well, so if there's been any movement during the night. And then you get your usual stages. Additional information is all there. So I think I'm finding the sleep tracking seems quite accurate on this one as well. So much more than the older Galaxy watches did have. Heart rate seems to be very accurate as well. Actually, let's try the heart rate really. So if I go here, let's see, and if I wore, I don't know, let's put this, I don't know if it gives me heart rate if I put it here. Let's just check. So you can see they both seem very accurate, to be honest, right now. But that's because I'm not moving, sort of a very static position at the moment, so it's easy to read. But when you're actually doing an activity and you're moving around, like, you know, your heart's then really, the heartbeat is really then racing or whatever, that's when it's interesting. And I know this one works to be all over the place. If you're doing some exercises and sometimes you get some crazy readings and other times you wouldn't even move. I had to tap the watch sometimes to make sure the heart rate was tracking properly. But I mean, on right now it's also showing look identical, both are showing the same heart rate. But I know that's not the case during an activity, whether you're running or exercising or something. So in terms of heart rate accuracy, I mean, I wouldn't recommend this one, to be honest. Other things like, let's quickly do a SpO2 and see. So if I go to this one, and if I go to this one as well, see what it shows. Today peak. So I'm going to measure. Well, that's a big difference. This one's got 97 and this one's got 91. That's a huge difference. I mean, you know, if you were trying to use one of those SpO2 monitors to monitor and you have concerns around your sort of health, you know, that's a big difference to sort of take into account. I mean, that's like 6 points difference here, and I think that's a bit too much. If it's 1 or 2, you can kind of leave it. I'm hoping this one is the accurate one. It's the new one, and this one isn't. They're both showing the same heart rate, but this one's, I believe this one is obviously, you know, this is where I'm feeling. So that just shows you the sensor is not particularly great here. What other things can I show on the health? I could quickly do I can't really, because if I'm to, let me try. If I could do a body sensor one, see if that's possible. So body composition, I may have to take the watches off and actually do one and see what they show. So I'll start off with this one because I already have this on my hand. See what it shows. So if I measure, you put your current weight in. So this is the difference from the morning. But let's see now if that, I mean, let's just stop here and do the other one and see what the other one shows in terms of the reading. So I put the same weight and everything on this one, and now let's just see what the reading shows. So now we can compare. So let's see the difference between the two. Again, you can see the digital bezel just needs to be really pushed in order for it to work. I mean, it's kind of quite close here in terms of the mass, fat mass again, 3 points difference. Body water, kind of close. Again, not too far off. I mean, the BMI is identical. So it's not too far off. I mean, considering it's 2 years older, we could quickly do an ECG and see. Let's put this one back on. I haven't tried any ECG reading on this watch, so it's the first time. Okay. So again with ECG you just have to tap. I guess here, let's see what it does. So yeah, this one seems to be fine. Let's try this one now. Should be the same. Same thing. So in terms of heart rate and everything was picked up the same. I wonder, moving back to some other features now. So health-wise, they're kind of close, but this one is just going to be more accurate because it's just, obviously there's a lot more sensors here than this one is. It's okay now we are in a sitting position here, not moving much, but if you're doing some activity like I said earlier, then it does make a difference. Well, let's see if it picks up the GPS actually. So if I was to say on a run, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to check if it picks up the GPS. Obviously it's indoors, there's not great amount of reception in this place here.
Start with a few warm-up exercises.
Oh look, location detected. I mean, this is like in a room where I hardly get any signal. So it's picked up the signal here. Let's try this one. See if it can live up to... Don't forget there's a big difference in the... way because of the dual band. Again, you see it took a while to get to that. So it says location is turned off. Turn it on. Yeah. Okay, so I'll say running and see what this one does. It's already started. It's not told me if it's found the GPS or located my GPS can't be detected. You see, this is the difference between the single band and the dual band. This one has picked up indoors in a house where there's not much of a clear reception. So this one, yeah, definitely, as you can see here, it's not found the location. But just before we go any further, just while we are here, I mean, this one, so we are at that screen where this one's paused and this one's paused, but type of information you can see. So this one's got duration and distance. You've got a little heart, sort of your heart rate here, and then you've got calories. I mean, I know some of this is configurable, but and then you have the sort of your heart zone, and then this is the left and right. But this one is just, it's nice actually the way this one displays that information. You've got, you see the heart rate zones. Obviously, you know, it's just in a nice, so this obviously moves to wherever your heart rate is at the particular zone. Anyway, so that's that. I mean, the point was to show if GPS is picked up on the watches indoors. This one does it. And I'm going to end this. And then I'm going to end this too. This one didn't pick up the GPS, whereas this one did. And then it talks about VO2 max. This one really also mentions about VO2 max. Yeah, similar information there. Sweat loss and everything else. But importantly, did not pick up the GPS. Okay, so I just wanted to show that as it's a very important feature for many people. Anyway, Watch 5 Pro is still very capable and is still worth considering. I mean, obviously it'd be a really good low price probably now. You can pick up one. Watch Ultra, obviously, as you know, it's not the cheapest thing out there. Very expensive. 600, I think, is it 599 in UK pounds. That's a lot of money for a watch. It's cheaper than Apple Watch Ultra, but obviously it's very expensive. Whereas this one, I don't know, you probably could get it for, this was a Bluetooth only version, by the way. And also the Watch Ultra is got Bluetooth LTE all built in. I'm sure this is going to go for a very reasonable price now if someone wants it. Could do a lot with the watch still. It's a nice, beautiful looking watch. Put a different watch face on it. And look how beautiful it looks. So I'm sad we're trading this one in. So we've had it for a while. We've used it for a while. And it still remained almost like brand new the day it was unboxed. but it's time to go. Now we will follow up with other videos on the Ultra, so there's a lot more to show on this watch, and we will cover those. And hopefully we'll do more health sensor tests, so things like the blood pressure. We'll set up the blood pressure on this one, do a test we could compare with the Classic as well to see how accurate those two are, because they are the more recent of the watches. Now if there's anything else you want to see us test, please let us know and we will test them. I mean, I'd like to test some sounds. I mean, I could quickly maybe see if I find one. So let's just, in terms of quick speaker, sort of test how good the speaker is or how not so good the speaker is. Let's have a look. Let's hear it. So this is the over the horizon Samsung's default. And in terms of that, I think that is very impressive. What's this one? Oh, very horrible. It's only got these two. What's this one? This is a different one. Can I forward it? Skip a bit. Yeah, if you hold down the button, you can skip. So this isn't the full volume, and even you can hear it doesn't distort or anything, which is really great. So yeah, you can listen to, if you have Spotify, you can listen to some music on this actually. And don't forget you can connect to your earbuds as well, but it's capable. It's much better than Watch 5 Pro or Watch 6 Classic, Pixel Watch and all those put together. The only other one I'd say is that I thought was better was obviously the Huawei Watch 4 Pro in terms of the sound quality, but I think this one's on par, just maybe less bass, but otherwise I think the sound is great, as you heard. Actually, very importantly, one of the last points to mention is the battery life on both of these watches. So they're both 590 milliamp power battery, so the same battery. Now this one's currently on 79% and this one's on 59%. So let's see what this one says in terms of how long that will last. So it's like 59 hours and 1 minute left, it says. And that's showing us that it's got 2 days and 11 hours left to use. And that's 79%. Let's see what this one says on 59. It says 1 day, 1 hour left. And if I go to battery usage, it's showing 1 day and 20 hours since last used. So just go back to the same screen on this one as well. In my experience so far with this watch, I thought the battery was quite good when I took it out of the box and used it for a couple of days. The other day I got the first update, the battery update, and I'm finding the battery life hasn't really improved since the update, although Samsung's note did say the battery improvement, and also the battery charging obviously was stable or stabilized a bit more. I haven't found either to be the case. Charging still seems quite slow, and the battery life kind of getting close to 2 days with always on, completely always on, with everything running. I haven't sort of stopped any sensors or anything at all. I'm hoping that'll get better. I'll get 2.5 days always on. I think that's the best I can probably expect by the looks of things. If I decided to then not have the always on display and change some of the features like tilt to wake and all that, I know I can squeeze a few more hours out. This one definitely has better battery. Obviously it's older, it's got less happening. Obviously the processor here was different. It's meant to be more efficient. It's a new processor. This one's an older processor, but I think there's less in terms of health tracking and other stuff that's happening. Dual band GPS probably also has an impact. The 3000 nits brightness has an impact on battery life. This one's battery life is better, just from my initial impressions of having used this for a couple of weeks now, because I had other grey version. So yeah, getting 2 days, full 2 days of always on sort of display use. This one, it gives me about 3 days. Always on display, maybe 1.5. So it maybe kind of balances out. But I would say this one's better. But then again, you're getting less. You haven't got the dual frequency GPS and stuff like that. But again, I just still reiterate that battery probably will improve on this. I'm kind of not concluding that that's the battery life. Still early days, and I'm going to follow up, and I'm going to come back with more information as I sort of discover. But then I just mentioning that I haven't found the new update to have really significantly made any improvements to the battery life or the charging speed on this watch, which is what the update information said it was going to do. Now I have to mention thing about haptic on this watch. I mean, especially I'm using this one here side by side. As I move around screens and information, this one's so weak. It's got such a weak haptic, you barely feel it. Whereas this one, it's just it really vibrates on your skin. You can feel like something's happening. You're doing something on your watch. Whereas this one, you can't even tell. So that makes a huge difference when you're sort of using the watch, or you're moving around navigating. So just something to keep in mind. This one is quite weak in terms of its haptics. This one is absolutely brilliant. The best I have used on a Galaxy watch for sure. Pixel Watch was good, but this is better. Obviously Pixel Watch 3 probably be better. Who knows, we'll see.
So that's all for today, guys. I hope you find the video informative, and if you have, please do give it a like and support us by subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, do take care. Bye bye.